Welcome back, Fox Cubs. It's me, Libby Fox, and today in this video we are going to be discussing Bones, Season 1, Episode 1. A very short summary. It's a summary of Bones, which has major spoilers. I just went all over the place. I'm sorry. So my thoughts on the very first episode of Season 1. So in the very beginning of the episode, we are given information about the characters and how they think, feel, act, and much more about the characters. And my thoughts on the episode are very plain and simple. The writers knew what they were doing when they wrote Brennan to be a smart, strong, and independent woman. And giving her a group of friends to get through tough cases was a smart decision. I believe having this case, the first to be shown in the series, is a smart idea to get the audience to learn some basic knowledge of the main cast and also give them a sense of what the rest of the series will look like. My thoughts on the main characters in the first episode. In the very first episode, we are given information about a character and how they think, feel, and act. As an example, one of the characters might talk about their views on a topic that was being discussed in that scene, showing the viewer what the character thinks and feels about that topic. Another example might be their actions. Their actions can show their physical strength, show whether or not they are good or bad, also show how they would react in a situation, and show many other factors about said character. And my thoughts on main characters continued. As an example, Angela is at the airport trying to pick up Brennan when she is frustrated with the man at the desk who is not listening or answering her questions about the arrivals board. She flashes him with her chest to get him to listen. This shows that Angela is using her body to get what she wants. And later in the show, she is often described as a good time girl and a wild child. But this is just a small part of her character. As time goes on in the show, more of her character is revealed. And another example would be Brennan and her actions with the security guard in the first few scenes. She is tired from the flight and being in another country for a long time. She tries to leave the airport, but is stopped by a security guard. The guard tries to escort her to another place in the airport, but Brennan is not having it. She is annoyed and takes down the guard after he tried to forcefully take her to the other location. Her annoyance and undeniable strength while being jet-lagged shows that she is a person you should not mess with when she is trying to go somewhere, and also shows that she is fully capable to take care of herself. My thoughts on the main character's goals in the first episode. Brennan's main goal is to find whoever unalived the young woman in her lab and bring that person to justice. From the moment she meets the body to the point where she learns more about the victim's life, she is on a mission to solve the crime and give the victim's family some closure and peace of mind. She achieves her goal when she learns who unalived the victim and brought him to justice and solved the crime using all the knowledge that she knew and gained during the case. Here are some short character summaries. Okay. Dr. Temperance Brennan, nicknamed Bones. She is a forensic anthropologist at the Jeffersonian. She plays a major role in finding the criminals by using science and physical evidence from the bones. Her FBI partner, Agent Booth, goes with her to crime scenes and works with her to solve crimes. And she and Booth talk with suspects, and she helps in other ways to solve the crime. Agent Seeley Booth. He is an FBI agent who works with the Jeffersonian to solve crimes. He mainly works with Dr. Temperance Brennan, a forensic anthropologist. And he gave Dr. Brennan the nickname Bones, mostly because she works with bones. Angela Montenegro. Oh my gosh. She is a free-spirited artist who works at the Jeffersonian, giving the victims their faces back. She also helps with identifying the victims to help with solving, and she also uses other media to help with solving the crime. She also helps, and she is best friends with Dr. Brennan. Dr. Jack Hodgins. He is the bugs and slime guy at the Jeffersonian, where he works as an entomologist. He analyzes samples of bugs, slime, trace minerals, and mitochondrial materials and other things that appear at crime scenes after years of exposure and decay. He also has feelings earlier in the show for Angela, but remains friends with her. And he is in an ongoing battle to be the king of the lab with Zach. Zach is a student and intern of Dr. Brennan. He works at the Jeffersonian and helps out with cases, and is currently learning to be an anthropologist, a forensic anthropologist. Zach and Hodgins are in an ongoing battle to be the king of the lab to outgeek each other. And Dr. Daniel Goodman is the original director of the Jeffersonian, and his methods of leading the team are questioned at times, but later on he is respected by others. At the end of season 1, he leaves and is replaced by Dr. Saroyan as director. This is my rough timeline of the main events in the episode. Angela is at the airport trying to pick up Brennan. When she is frustrated with the man at the desk who is not listening or answering her questions about the arrivals board, she flashes him her chest to get his attention to listen. A few moments later, Brennan is behind her and they begin to walk to leave the airport. When a security guard comes over and tries to escort Brennan somewhere else. The guard is taken down. Later in the next scene, we see Brennan in an interrogation room where she meets Agent Booth. In their first meeting, Booth talks with her about them working together on future cases. She refuses until Booth promises her to have full participation in cases. and later takes her to a crime scene to figure out who the victim was. Brennan and her intern Zach Addy determined the victim was around 18 to 22 years old and a female who used to be a tennis player. After the crime scene was thoroughly looked through, the body and everything else at the crime scene was taken to the Jeffersonian. Brennan and everyone else working there got started on figuring out what happened to the victim. After some time investigating people who were close to or came into contact with the victim and did a thorough examination of the victim's bones, Brennan learned that the victim was pregnant with maybe the senator's baby. At first they thought the senator or the victim's stalker was the one responsible for the victim's death, but the evidence was not making sense and it didn't work. Later in the episode, after they found out the senator nor the stalker was the responsible party unaliving the victim, Brennan figured out that the victim's boyfriend had unalived her, fearing that his career would end because he was scared of a possible scandal because of the pregnancy. He thought it would negatively affect his career. After Brennan shot the boyfriend of the victim in the leg, the victim's stalker and Booth came in looking for Brennan. The stalker ended up applying pressure on the shot wound, making sure that the boyfriend didn't die. And it's implied that Booth arrested the boyfriend of the victim. Causes and effects of the first episode, which lay a formula that creates the show's strong take of a female scientist in an FBI agent-led crime-solving show, which made it so popular. Causes: having Booth and Brennan being the main two people working together on screen in many of the scenes. Having a small group of characters shown in the Jeffersonian and out in public in the show. Romantic tension between Booth and Brennan in the first episode. Brennan is heavily centered around facts and science, telling the truth about people. Effects: Booth and Brennan work together on almost every case together for the rest of the series. The small group of friends became tightly knit and have a strong friendship throughout the series. Booth and Brennan end up married and have kids in later seasons. Brennan is still science and fact centered, but grew to accept other ways to learn the truth. So in conclusion, I believe that the staff in charge of making the show Bones knew what they were doing when they were in the beginning stages of making the show. I also believe that they could recognize what their audiences wanted to see in this crime drama and made this show well built that it was capable to create such a strong fandom for a few years. And finally, in my personal opinion, this show is really great and did a good job at making funny jokes at the appropriate time, making gross stuff look kinda cool, and also make science sound really interesting. And also usually use real life crimes and use actual crime solving methods to make the show really fascinating and really get a person absorbed in watching Bones for a long time because this show was so good. And again, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. And again, hit the comment and like button stuff. Just let me know if you want to see another video like this. And again, thank you for watching. Bye, Fox Cubs!